There we go. There we freaking go. Back to arms. Back to freaking arms. And one thing that's nice about Arm Day, I would kind of just have to say it's kind of chill, you know? Now, that's not me going like, I take it easy on Arm Day, of course. But just like the sets themselves, the stakes are not so high in if you can kind of understand what I'm getting at there. Like getting under a fucking hundreds of pounds on your back for squats or leg press. Like that's sort of just fucking taxing on your whole system in a way which is like extra difficult. You're just literally using way more fucking muscle fibers at once. Like for me to do a crazy set of quads, be it leg extensions, be it like fucking, squats or like leg press, it doesn't matter. Like a set of quads, I've referenced this before. It's like how much bigger really is that than my biceps? At least 10, 10 times bigger. There's 10 times more muscle making up my whole quad than there is in my biceps. So to take that much muscle fibers to failure compared to these little ones, or this few, the kind of necessary exertion is a little bit lower. So I don't have to like huff and puff and feel like I'm dying in between my sets when I'm doing you know, when I'm doing arms. Not that I don't. I mean, I'm still gonna be sweating, but it's just fucking nice, man. And this is I get this question a lot. It's like, what's my favorite lift? I don't know if I have. It's apples and oranges, man. Every lift is a little bit different, comes with its own challenges, and uh, I don't even want to say drawbacks, but like just pluses and minuses. Like legs is hard, but that's the fun part. Arms is, I mean, it's crazy seeing yourself with a pump in general because whatever muscle you just trained is now literally just extra fucking big. It's all cool, man. So that's uh that's where I'm not so picky. And honestly, if you really, I think the enlightened lifter, he's not so partial. He's not so partial to which lifts he does on any given day because his excitement isn't going to be dictated by what lift it is. It's just like, okay, I've got my lift today. I'm hyped up for it. Let's go hit this shit, right? So, tries, buys, push downs, dips, machine dips, that is. I'm not a massive fan of like the body weight dips. It just doesn't do it for me. Definitely not for definitely not for triceps. Chest, I have done that before, not so much recently, but I used to even do like weighted dips. In terms of lower pecs, I mean it's legit. I just not a massive fan this very moment. But in terms of like actual kind of triceps, I mean the machine dip is kind of it's what's the word I'm thinking of here? It's sort of the pinnacle of that style, right? Like for me to do body weight dips, that's a very kind of compoundy kind of movement. Whereas like a machine, and this is kind of the benefit of all machines, is it's much more isolative. I can really just send signals from my brain all the way down to my tricep and not have to worry about anything else. And that's kind of a point of contention where not so much now. I don't think people are so concerned about it. Like nobody's a diehard like I only lift with free weights, and nobody's like, well, I only use machines, you fucking idiot. At least the stability. I think that argument has kind of come and passed. Like we all know, you're gonna stimulate your muscle doing either or, so just kind of do an even mix. But there are things to be said about machines in terms of the added stability and let's just say the lack of stabilizers, which a lot of guys who are like diehard free weight fans are. I feel like power lifters more so are gonna be want to include themselves in that argument. But power lifters are gonna be obviously if they're training for a bench press, they want to train bench press. They don't want to just train like pec deck or yeah, yeah, RPE 6 pec deck for the in your program. I don't know if I'm ever gonna see that, but a big logic would be you're using all your stabilizing muscles, so your whole system is going to, develop its strength. But in a more bodybuilding side of things, if you're only trying to work your chest, then some chest presses are gonna take your shoulders almost completely out of it. You're not gonna have to use your back so much for like keeping everything in line, because the movement path on the machine is already laid out for you. And then you just get to, I mean, really, you can just focus more so on your own effort rather than balance. Because there is definitely there's a level of skill which comes to some lifts, which if you're more advanced, like if you've lifted for like a long time, then that skill isn't going to be problematic for you going hard. But for somebody who hasn't lifted for that long, the beginner is probably going to feel far more comfortable pushing himself as hard as he can and like actually doing heavy weight on like a hack squat or like a machine leg press than he would on a barbell squat, because a barbell squat is fucking, dude, that's freaky, man. Just the balancing act alone of it, I mean, it's dangerous. I've had a couple, and not even a couple, I've had very frequent instances, at least like every, I don't know, few leg sessions, where I'm squatting and I'll like miss grooves all the fucking time, and that already could cause like fucking losing your balance and shit. But even doing everything right, or I guess as right as I could, I'll sit there and like lose my balance in the hole, and then I've got to actually like rack it on the safeties. That's freaky, man. A barbell squat, there's a lot of skill involved, to the point where like I haven't done barbell squats for a few weeks now, and I probably wouldn't want to just jump straight into like my max weight, purely because, if I haven't done them for a while, sure, my strength might be there, but my actual ability to like execute the reps in a safe manner, dude, I mean, fuck, right? That's like if you took somebody who played baseball in college, they had like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, or 95, and I'm not going to disrespect you, I know you had a 95, and then 10 years pass, sure, you still have the skill and you know exactly like what kind of whatever to do, but you just haven't done it for so long. You're just asking for trouble. And I tell you what, if you're if you're squatting with a plate, you're probably not gonna hurt yourself that bad if you like got crumpled. But there's far too many cases of, like, I'm talking lethality, like permanent damage, life-threatening injury from barbell squats, man. You know, so that's where whenever I see videos of guys squatting and there's no safety bars, and there's no like, I mean, even when I see the power lifters, like the IPF guys, where they've got the 3 spotters or like the 5 spotters if it's the really heavyweight class, even that makes me nervous. Like, you're not going to catch me doing heavy squats without safeties adjusted right to the right height, so that if I fail a rep, I don't immediately like just fucking, you know, snap my spine in half. I get to just set it down nice and gently. So, I feel like I feel a little bit Karen-ish every time I tell somebody, like, why aren't you using safeties? Because I mean, you're not planning to fail, but you gotta plan for the unplanned, as it were. But I didn't mean to go off on a whole leg day rant, but maybe this is good. Every time I talk about legs and the leg day lifts, it's like not so many of you guys are tuning in for the leg tips. So who knows? Maybe somebody watching this was about to squat later today, and they say fuck the safeties, and they took that little piece of intel to heart, and that would be nice. But 3:30, this is a crazy early lift for me, man. This is nice. And then the plan is to go catfishing later tonight. The rig itself, I'm talking $60 Meyer fishing rod. None of this bait caster nonsense. I just give me the standard fucking reel, or spindle, whatever. And then look, man, you're missing out if you're not using braid. But we'll talk about that later. Right now, let's just finish the last few minute drive to the gym, warm up just a touch, and I've really, well, I don't know, my last arm day was on the lighter end of things. Not so much for biceps. Biceps were a little bit, I mean, I was still going pretty heavy. But triceps especially, I was going really light. I'm talking like half the stack on rope pushdowns, and then really squeezing and holding it at the bottom. And that felt really good. Like, sure, of course, the weight was not so crazy, but I mean, that's still failure at about 15 reps. So, don't worry. I'm not so hard-headed that I'm like, dude, you have to do the full stack and 3 plates slapped on the side of it. No, man. As long as you're hitting failure in a reasonable rep range, which I would probably say in a bodybuilding context is like maybe 8 to like 20 reps, 25 reps. Drop sets make it a little funkier, but if you do a straight set for 8 to 20 reps, I'd say that's a fucking effective set. Now, if you fail at 8 to 20 reps because the weight was so heavy that you physically can't not do another rep in that rep range, then I think that's sick. And if you did a lighter weight, so you make the reps a bit more controlled, really squeeze, really like kind of control the negative down, and you fail at 10 to 15 reps, then that's also badass. There's not one way to skin this cat, goddammit. So let's just enjoy this beta alanine tingle. Get amped up to some. What have I even been listening to? I don't know. I've been doing a lot of like kind of Breaking Benjamin, Skillet kind of music. Spotify Weekly it's really leaving me hanging these last few weeks. I mean, I'll find like 3 songs out of 30 which I like. You'd think AI is getting good enough that it knows to feed me the songs that I really want to hear. Maybe fast forward a few months and it'll get more personalized. But no more chatting. No more freaking chatting. Let's just get started. So I'm gonna do heavy shit. Like I'm gonna do like push downs with a ton of weight on the side of it. But I do have a little bit of an extra reason to want to do like a really lighter, like squeezing shit for the first set of triceps. And that's because once my triceps get pumped up, I really can't get that same squeeze factor anymore. Like when you're doing a cable fly or like a pec deck and you can really squeeze your chest, even when I'm pumped, I can still squeeze extra hard later in the workout. But for my triceps, like right now, they're totally fresh, unpumped. I can get to the bottom and really squeeze and straighten my arms completely. But once they start to get pumped up, they kind of lose a little bit of strength, or at least squeezability, I guess, at the bottom, to the point where, like, if I did a set like this later in the lift, I wouldn't be able to go all the way to like here. I'd probably only have to like stop right here. So I'm missing out on that really fucking fully contracted portion. So that's what I'm going for here. Less than half the stack, only 40 pounds. Really squeeze. And then, after maybe a set, potentially 2, do something extra heavy. Because I mean, dude, your triceps are strong. Loading your triceps, I don't think is ever going to be a bad move. The only, situation where it could be is like a skull crusher situation where you're really wrenching your elbows. But no more talking. Let's get moving. After I pick a better song. All right, come on. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's just do the one. Move on to something heavy now. Yeah. So I've warmed up a little extra. I mean, I'm not just gonna go straight from a light set to fucking crazy heavy, but elbows warm. Let's throw the shit around. Oh my God. Fuck. A few more, just like that. Okay. Yeah. I was going to make it a rest pause, but actually I think that's good. Let's just keep spamming these until I feel like I need to move on. Okay. This will be rest pause. No. Let's move on to some dips. I think that's enough of these. Similar style to set number one. Talking squeeze at the bottom, hold it, come back down. And as I get more and more fatigued, those pause reps will turn into normal reps. Those normal reps will turn into partials. And then that'll be the end of it. Yeah. 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 No, okay. One more, at least. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. It drops it. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Holy fuck. Okay. I'm not totally sure what I want to do next. Let me think about it. But maybe just one more set. My eyes are already pretty wrecked after. Yeah, 6 sets. Probably just one more. There we go. All right, I think this will be a good burnout. So, a little bit of a 2-portion set. Because I want to do something heavy too, but I also want to do something light and squeezing. So why choose if you could do both? So portion A, 32 pounds, single arm, nothing crazy. That would add up to like 70 pounds with both arms. So I'm gonna do 5 reps on one side, 5 on the other, 5 on one, 5 on the other. You know, squeeze, hold it for a moment, then back down, and pretty much just go until I'm like satisfactorily fatigued. Like I can say, okay, my triceps are burning. swap the handle for a straight bar, throw the stack on, and then burn out like this. Because for me right now, this full stack is like very moderate weight. But if I pre-exhaust beforehand, then it'll be just about right. So now all I gotta do is get excited for it. Yeah, right sides first. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah. 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 Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. I think triceps are done. Let's go curl some shit. The 65s will get no mercy from me. Come on, goddammit. No wait. Okay, that's good. Oh. All right. I think one more. But instead of a nasty 65s, I might do more chill squeezing set with a 55s. To be determined. Yeah. 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 Okay. I'm not done. I'm not done yet. Give me a second. Do a little rest pause action. Yeah, but I gotta do it. Okay, that's enough. Oh, oh, oh my god. All right, let's do something else. Machine, I think. Yeah, let's do some preachers. I'm thinking I don't need my straps, but nothing crazy. 25 and a 10, or no, 25 and a 5. So this will be similar to that last set. Very squeeze, focused, controlled. This is not a movement I want to like start ego lift and do a crazy reps on. But with like a machine curl that I might do later, a movement like that, I may be more inclined to do kind of faster, nasty reps. And I'd say a good kind of, I mean, I don't really think about it like this, but if I had to kind of explain the reason I would do some movements much slower and controlled compared to others would just come to the strength curve. You know, like for me to do you know, really kind of fast reps on like that machine curl over there, the tension is pretty constant. I'm not going to build up any momentum and rip my biceps off at the bottom. But with something like this, if you were to take this fucking easy bar from the top, go down really quick, and then suddenly have to like revert its momentum upward, this is a lot of tension already compared to up here. So with something like this, or something like a bench, or something like squats, it's probably going to be better just be a little more slow and controlled. Just because you can lose so much, I mean, you kind of just lose control. Then you're just throwing it around, and half of the movement you have no tension, and the other half you have like double. It just doesn't really make that much sense. But let me pick a different song and hit this shit. Come on. Where'd Mark go? Mark, can I have some assisted reps? Thank you.
Just on like the top?
What?
Nothing.
You already said it. Yeah.
Just help me on the way up.
Yeah, I'll tell you when. It might be a while. Yes. Right now. Yeah, one more. Oh my god. Oh. Thank you. No explosion for that one.
You ever think to, I don't know, I feel like you could have extended more.
I feel like I'm gonna rip my bicep off, man. This feels natural. That's like unnatural. When I watch Blake do it, he goes all the way straight. It scares me.
Also one if you wanted. Could do
I'm about to tell you. Okay, let's cough there. Yeesh. I think let's do a little cable stuff, and then buys are going to be a lower volume day. Here's the plan. Here's the plan. For pump's sake, 10 reps of pushdowns, 10 reps of curls. Back and forth, probably 3-4 times, then pose down. This will be nasty.
Try going back a little more. I think you just need a little. Because your body's like stopping instead of going. Yeah, like that. Pull it up. You want to be fat. As you're going,
Okay. One more. Yeah. 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 Oh my god, fuck. Come on. This. Oh my god. Arms done. There we go. Little I was going for a little bit more tricep focus because apart from the overarching imbalances I've got, shoulders are pretty ahead of the game and my back is pretty ahead of the game. Besides those two, even kind of a sub weak point, my triceps. So I think these arm days will become a little bit more bicep focused, and I'm going to ease back just a touch on the bicep volume in an effort to kind of even myself out, if you catch my logic. But I didn't bring the tape measure down. I'll remeasure in like a few weeks. There's not really much point in doing it day by day. I'm not going to gain an inch in 3 days of rest between arm days. But if you're measuring stuff like that, like your weight or a little, size measurements on a little bit of a longer time frame, weeks, then you'll actually start to see noticeable changes in between. But let's run through a couple classic arm poses here and then get out of here. Oh my goodness. Let's get one little most muscular in here. All freaking done. All freaking done. So I'm still huffing and puffing, but nothing like on a fucking leg day. Oh my goodness. So let's get in the car, go home and grub on something, man. Arm day freaking complete. Complete to, well, you tell me. You tell me. My tries are burning. My buys are pretty fatigued as well, though with a little bit less intense volume. I can still feel I can actually really feel some residual tricep action right now, even just flexing it. So I know when I go home and have 2 packs of instant rice, a top round, no, not a top round, what kind of, a little New York strip, I'm talking grass-fed, then I'm gonna allocate a portion of those amino acids towards hypertrophic goals, aka get a little bit bigger, get just a little bit bigger. But on a day-by-day basis, you'll never notice. You'll really never notice. And that's I've never even thought about being discouraged by that, but I guess for some guys that could be a little bit of a turnoff. The fact that, this has been, said very well by a couple other people before, but there's no real daily affirmation, especially in the beginning of working out. Now there is, like, I'd say you could see, in some instances there are like weekly changes you can make, but for the most part, any noticeable changes that you're going to have body weight wise and muscular wise and just like development wise, it's going to be on a month to month kind of situation. So you kind of have to at least be content with not really reaping the reward until a month later. And if you're an optimistic, extra excited early bird lifter and you haven't really worked out that much yet, and you really, you're looking up to anybody who's a bit more jacked than you. I'm not even talking like Olympia characters. Like, dude, I mean, for me, even just anybody who was big in my high school, I was like, damn, man, I gotta get like them. If your end goal is kind of what you're aiming for, then you're gonna you could potentially be a little bit discouraged by the fact that it takes a while to get there. But that's never really fucking bothered me. I know this is a long, well, of course I know that, but I feel like I'm definitely wired such that I'm in it for the long haul. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm not just excited about how big I am, how much muscle I'm gonna be able to put on my frame this bulking phase. Like, I'm excited for like fucking where I'm gonna be in like 3 years or like 4 years, and like for a while. And I've kind of been like that for a long time, even when I was kind of just a beginner lifter. I'm talking like 160-pound kid in the basement taking my double bicep shot flexing. Like, kind of being in it for the long haul is, I don't know, it's kind of a hard sell. It's like you can't, I feel a little bit of, like, I'm always kind of self-reflecting in a way when I'm talking about all this kind of workout sort of motivation and stuff, because I feel like I've got a good perspective to be able to talk about it, because I've been working out for like years on end. I've got some serious results. Like, I pretty much know what I'm talking about for the most part. But the motivation side of things, and like the actual like driving force behind, coming to the gym on a fucking regular basis, no cheating, actually eating in such a way that it's like catered to your goals. That's a little bit harder for me to really say like how to get excited about it, because I don't know if you really can, right? I mean, it's like because you can't just tell somebody to get excited. It doesn't work. That's like telling telling your kid, like, all right, we're gonna do lawn work today, come on, get excited for it. Like, what are you talking about? That's just not how it you can't incept excitedness like that. So that's where in a way, I guess all I can really say is like kind of just how it's done. Track your macros, go hard, get your rest, right? Do your reasonable amount of volume. Don't take scrappy weeks or anything. Be consistent. Shit, man, gains will come. This isn't a mystery. This is not as much energy gets put into like arguing between like, okay, which way of training is better. Like, it's not a mystery. If you take a dude and you have him work out for like 2 years straight, like not like taking months off at a time, or like taking off weeks all the time, like he's working out for that year straight, he could have programmed rest days, whatever. He's actually eating right. The guy's gonna make gains, and there's zero question about it. So the fact that it's so doable like that, I don't even think it's a problem of misinformation. I think it's just a question of like being able to allocate a certain amount of time and really get into something. So that's not for me to say. I can tell you how much eating in a calorie deficit is going to help you lose body fat. I can tell you, like, if you're a 180-pound lean, like, let's say 15% body fat guy, 18 years old ish, if you're eating 2,000 calories, like, 100 grams of or 180 grams of protein, 70s of fats, and like 100 grams of carbs, however many calories that adds up to, just if you're eating in a deficit like that for months on end, or 2 months, 3 months, whatever, you're gonna get lean. And getting lean enough to really like see your abs and like have ab veins and everything else and get chest striations, like, there's no question that's gonna happen, right? But that's then the responsibility is just on whoever it is working out to actually employ all these techniques and make it happen, right? And it's the same with anything. So if somebody wanted to learn how to play guitar, and maybe you didn't want to like go actually get guitar lessons, which would probably actually really just be the way to do it, but even just watching YouTube videos, I mean, there's fucking series upon series. The information's there of these guys explaining everything. Like, I mean, there's got to be hundreds of like 100-part YouTube series from like step 1 to like step 100 of like learning everything about, like, it's very doable, right? And honestly, the more you can kind of wrap your head around just how doable pretty much anything is, the easier. Like, do not underestimate the power of spending even just, I mean, I won't even I'd probably aim for at least an hour. But if I were really into something, or if for whatever reason you actually had that itch in your mind, like, okay, I want to start doing this, I want to be good at this, I want to keep getting better at this, whatever that this may be, if you can just take an hour of your day on a reasonably consistent basis, I mean, the more consistent, the better, because then over time you're going to get more and more actual, like, I mean, I guess you could call it like play time in whatever the thing is that you're doing. But even if you just spent an hour a day doing something, I mean, by the time you've done that, I mean, let's just say fucking like 50 times, 60 times. If you spent 2 months actually doing something for an hour a day and you weren't just like totally slacking off, you were actually trying to get better at it, you're probably better than 95% of people in the whole world, or whatever percentage of that thing, because, nobody else is really doing it, So this is I say this a lot, and I really don't think I can oversay it, but you really have to kind of grasp, like, to be kind of good at something, or to have like results in something which are actually like noticeable to anybody else. Odds are that isn't just, I mean, not even odds are, that will never happen overnight. That will never just immediately happen. Anything cool that, I mean, I've said this exact phrase a lot, anything cool that anybody does fucking ever, odds are it's taken probably thousands upon thousands of hours behind the scenes, unwatched, unspectated, anything, before, any real cool fucking shit actually goes down. And I mean, that's really all there is to it. That's so it's simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. So if you want to get good at working out, if you just work out hard and gradually continue to make gains over the course of, like, I thought I was gonna turn left, over the course of fucking years, guess what? You're gonna have some fucking results behind your training. And that was my sort of perspective when it came to posting anything, and I guess it's my same perspective when it comes to doing bodybuilding competitions. Is why really try to put yourself in the spotlight in a way when you're not really at a point where you have some serious results yet? Now, I'm not saying don't start posting yourself working out if you can't bench 315, or don't start a fitness page. But what I can say for sure, and this is kind of looping around to the social media side of things, but just think about it. The most saturated demographic, at least let's just focus in on the fitness side of things here, the most concentrated and just largest demographic of people posting anything fitness related, or like posting about their journey and their workouts and stuff, the group that's posting the most are guys who are beginner lifters, 3 months in, 6 months in, right? So in my mind, well, actually, not exactly. I never really planned on posting anything for the first couple of years I was working out. I was actually a bit of a tripod hater. But, in my mind, if you wait until you're already kind of a dog, and then you start posting stuff, and then you start kind of highlighting what you're doing, you've actually got some kind of results to back up, just something, right? If somebody were to really want to get into, I mean, anything, I'm sure you would definitely want to have like that whole process kind of, documented, of course. But odds are, waiting until you're already a little bit freak showish, it will do you a little bit good, right? And the more effort you put into like just trying to, well, now I'm going off on a real fucking tangent here. But don't lose sight of the whole point of it, right? Like, if you're trying to post things working out wise, most of your effort should be on the workout itself, right? Not just making a, kind of YouTube video spectacle about it. Right? And that's kind of how I feel like I do these. And I'm working out just like I normally would, but now I get to, bring the camera and everything else. But either way, Either freaking way, the more lift that you can get under your belt when nobody's watching, the cooler, I think. But enough of that little kind of off-topic rant. The plan now is to go home, cook up some food. I'm talking microwave rice, potentially a pack of ramen. Not because I think it has like the greatest, you know, most nutritious whatever. It's 52 grams of carbs and 14 grams of fat, but I do like it. And eating foods that you like and that you can really get down pretty easily in a bulking phase, it's what you should really be doing. You know, like if it's much easier for you to eat potatoes, be it mashed, whole, fucking, you know, baked, fried, whatever, compared to any other carb source that you're chowing down on, then that's what you should be smacking around. You know, like it just trying to bias foods that are actually easy for you to eat is gonna be a bit easier for you to do on a long term and kind of massive sort of basis. But plan for tomorrow, legs again, back to the beginning of the loop. Not exactly sure what that lift will look like. But I think I might have to take it easy on hamstrings. Because even right now, after the last leg day, which was, I mean, 2 days ago, I kind of forget now. But from doing those really like nasty, heavy seated hamstring curls, like my hamstrings are still on fucking fire. To the point where I just don't think I can. Yeah, man. I think tomorrow they might not be actually recovered enough to hit again. So maybe it'll end up just being a quad only day. But that will be for tomorrow's me to sort out. Let's just deal with the food and getting a good night's rest first. So I'll see you then.